Good afternoon, everyone. It's nearly 3:20 in the beautiful island of Mauritius. So I've changed my background so that we can change the mood from UK to a tropical island like Mauritius.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah, as you can see, I'm from the University of Technology, and my co-author, Mr. Jaffur, is from the Open University of Mauritius. And today we're looking at a conceptual analysis of quality of working life. In fact, what we do, we try to investigate into existing literature and try to find out how the perception of quality of work life has changed before COVID and after the COVID-19. And I should say, after having listened to the keynote address of Professor Wagner, our research tended very much to what he wanted to show. And this is very interesting, as you would see. So let's continue. As part of the introduction, when we speak about strategic human resource management, it's how people help the organization to achieve their goals. And as you can see in terms of below, they already mentioned that the success of any organization invariably depends on an employee's strength, skills, and the commitment to work. However, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, which was unprecedented, as you all know, essential issues such as employee health, well-being, digitalization, including disruptive technologies, required a refocus on what we wanted to talk about. So therefore, our main aim of the paper is we try to find out how the perception of quality of work life evolved during the last 2 decades. So we explore the various components that tried to describe quality of working life as put forward by various authors. And by analyzing these parameters, we try to analyze the various changes which were brought in describing the concept of quality of work life before and after the pandemic. If we start with the unprecedented circumstance, we all will agree that the pandemic has been one of the biggest crises in history of mankind. And this particular crisis rendered business environments to be volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And the whole world is still recovering from the impacts of such a circumstance. And such circumstances, unfortunately or fortunately, forced many organizations worldwide to reconsider and readapt the way they managed their people. So there was a new concept that rose, which was the emergence of the future of work. So nowadays, many people are thinking about how will the future of work look like. And one aspect of this particular future of work is the quality of work life which people will have. And when we speak about quality of work life, this concept was first brought in the limelight by Hopok right back in 1935. And he was reviewing studies mostly based on job satisfaction. And he came up with the idea, or he came up with a construct that said that quality of working life was mostly a combination of psychological, physiological, and environmental circumstances which prompted people to say that they were satisfied with their jobs. However, since 1935 till date, the concept of quality of work life changed a lot. It evolved with business circumstances. Around the 1950s till the 1960s, what we saw was that the concept of quality of work life was mostly linked with the relationship between employees and their work environments. When people spoke about quality of work life, they referred to mostly the work environment where they work. In the 1970s, research which we had access to showed that there was a decline in the interest in quality of work life, which Martel and Dupuy slightly linked to the oil crisis which the world was facing. This trend in decline in quality of work life continued until the 1990s because there were other issues that were most prominent in the world. For example, globalization, new economies emerged, and there was also an increase and enhancement in communication technologies. So between the 1970s and the 1990s, because of maybe stable business conditions and other business trends, there was a decline in the studies with respect to the quality of working life. However, in the 2000s, right, when financial rewards had somehow lost their power, there was yet another surge and interest in the study of quality of working life. And this was mostly attributed by Sojka to the struggle to retain the best employees. People wanted to retain their best employees, their best talents, their best resources, and there was thus another surge in the study of quality of work life, which continued till 2018. Right, there were seminal studies, a lot of studies took place between the years 2008 and 2018. So what we tried to do over here, right, in order to see how before and after the pandemic, the concept of quality of working life changed, we did a preliminary search on keywords such as quality of work life, quality of working life, and job satisfaction as well, because we realized that quality of work life came out from job satisfaction. We conducted our research on Google Scholar, Emerald, ResearchGate, ProQuest, and Science Direct, and we found around 120 research studies. But then we also came across the seminal work of Martel and Dupuy, who had already analyzed different aspects of quality of work life right from 1948 to 2003. So, after analyzing the various components of quality of working life by Martel and Dupuy, we tried to stick to the last 2 decades, that is, starting from the year 2000. Thus, we refined our initial search and we used only quality of work life as a keyword, and we limited our time period from 2000 to 2023. Thus, we retained 35 research papers in all, and we conducted our analysis on same. Our findings are very much summarized, so I'm sorry for this little bit. I had to completely summarize my findings to fit in both the timing of the presentation and also the slides that we have, but the more comprehensive findings year-wise are found in the whole article, which will be available to you shortly. So we realize, as per the research papers which we have access to, from the year 2000 to 2002, we had a look at 5 studies, and the prominent quality of work-life factor which emerged was work environment. For the year 2003 to 2006, we came across 3 studies, right? And we found pay and work conditions to affect quality of working life. From the year 2007 to 2010, there were 4 studies, and the factors prominent about quality of working life was pay, health, and well-being. In the year 2011 to 2016, there were 3 studies, and prominent factors were compensation and job satisfaction. 2017 to 2020, we found work conditions and job satisfaction. And 2020 to 2023, we found health and safety and work schedule arrangements to be more prominent while characterizing quality of work life. This is just a summary of our findings. And when I go further, I would like to point out what we saw was there were 4 factors that became very much prominent after the COVID-19 pandemic. Before the pandemic, pay, rewards, benefits, and work environment were considered to be very important predeterminants of quality of working life. People judged the quality of working life by looking at their pay, rewards, benefit, and also what their working environment was offering to them. However, after the pandemic, safety and health and work schedule and work hours became more prominent factors, including flexible time arrangements. One factor that was very prominent after the COVID was the extent to which employers were flexible about their flexible timings in terms of being present in office. These were the 4 prominent factors, most prominent, I would say, which we found when we were analyzing data available to us. One particular aspect which we found that was quite intriguing to us, both authors, was job security was not as prominent as a factor to predetermine quality of work life as we were expecting. We did not find many perception, right? We did not find many research coming up with job security as a predeterminant of quality of work life, be it before or after the COVID-19. So before I end, I would like to put forward few limitations of our research, which we rightly acknowledge, and therefore which calls for a scope for further research. The first thing is that we did the analysis based on the research papers which we had access to. And being a small island developing state, we were on ResearchGate, yes and all, but we analyzed papers only with which we had access. And secondly, we did not do a sector-wise segregation. For example, we didn't see whether in the financial sector, in the manufacturing sector, or the hospitality sector, or for example, the healthcare sector, were the variables of quality of work life different. We lumped everything that we saw, we just found the perception. We are pretty sure maybe if we do a sector-wise segregation, there will be different perceptions in different sectors. For example, quality of working life in the healthcare sector might not be the same as quality of work life in the financial or hospitality sector, we presume, right? So this was what we wanted to portray. We still have to take the research further, but from what we have presented, should you have any questions or any further suggestions or any further comments, please let me know. I'm available for any questions which you have right now. Please.